Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for WildManBeyond. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box down below. Now this is for 2 episodes of a show called The Extreme Ghostbusters that I honestly did not watch much of. I didn't watch much of the original, or I should say the real Ghostbusters. Although I did watch an episode of that recently, I did rather enjoy it. I liked the voice cast, the music, the use of the theme, the Ghostbusters theme, the animation. I would say going from that to this is a bit of a rude awakening in the fact of, yeah, I would take this over Ghostbusters Afterlife. And, it's a cartoon. I'm not going to be that upset about it. It's a 2-part called Back in the Saddle, where the original Ghostbusters had to team up with the new team of Ghostbusters to deal with this new enemy. And the episode 1, Egon and Janine, over-explaining birthdays. It's a surprise party for Egon and Peter Venkman, Ray, Winston, they're there. Before we go further, for those who don't even know what the Extreme Ghostbusters or anything of this said, so back in the day there was the real Ghostbusters. The first 3 seasons, I believe you had the guy who voiced Garfield, he voiced Peter Venkman, and Arsenio Hall actually voiced Winston. And then I think you had the same guy voiced Egon through it all, and then Frank Welker, who voiced Fred from Scooby-Doo, he voiced Ray Stantz, and they pretty much kept him throughout the whole show. And both the guy who voiced Egon and Frank Welker as Ray, they come back for this. But then after 3 seasons, Arsenio Hall and I guess the guy who voiced Peter Venkman, they left. And then the guy who they got to play Peter was Dave Coulier. Which, by the way, he was part of Full House. And yes, I know Bob Saget passed away. May he rest in peace. Dave Coulier as Peter, I mean, it makes me not really care to see the... It seems like if I ever go back and watch the real Ghostbusters, I'd probably just stick with the first 3 seasons. It seems like that's when it's the up-to-par portions of it. Voice acting-wise, artistic-wise. It's... I mean, for those who are much more knowledgeable, for those who are much more experts, you let me know. But it seems like the first 3 seasons of the real Ghostbusters are probably the best bet. But then again, that went on for a few seasons. Then, like many shows, went bye-bye. Then you have this show. And this show, it's Egon, which I do like the idea much more than what they did in Afterlife. Which, yes, I know, Harold Ramis passed away, but just don't make the fucking movie then. But anyway. Egon was a teacher. Some of his students wanted to be Ghostbusters. One thing led to another. He's like, okay, I'm going to be their mentor. And the 4 Extreme Ghostbusters, one looked like a goth chick. One was a smartass with a soul patch. One was a prick in a wheelchair. And one was the engineer who was voiced by Alfonso Ribeiro, Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I didn't like this team. Granted, I know it's not fair. It's only 2 episodes, but I would say I don't care for this team. I mean, the fact it's called Extreme. It's extreme, baby. It's the extreme. Back to the day of extreme sports. Extreme this. We gotta get some Red Bull, give you fucking wings, man. We gotta do some snowboarding, some skateboarding, some bull riding, some butt fucking. It's the extreme. So, I mean, It's not a rant, only because they're only 20-some minutes a piece, and there's a couple of decent ideas I don't mind. But overall, I wouldn't say I was a fan. I think, again, Extreme Ghostbusters doesn't seem like my kind of thing, based on this first impression. And Dave Coulier, again, he voiced Peter Venkman later on in Real Ghostbusters, and then he comes back for this. He sounds like if he's doing a drunk impression of Bill Murray from Caddyshack. Oh, hey, how's it going? I kept waiting for him to go, cut it out. I tell him it's Dave Coulier. I keep thinking of him in Full House, and that voice kept basically, cut it out. He does sound like a drunk Bill Murray from Caddyshack. I don't know. I wasn't really big on it. I miss the guy that voiced him initially. And again, the guy who had voiced Garfield. He was much better than Dave Coulier. But in this episode 1, you realize what the others have been doing. Venkman's a Hollywood wannabe. Ray Stantz is a used car lot. Winston's trying to get his pilot license. Then it's that sort of friction between the young and the old, where the old are able to catch this ghost at a bowling alley, and the young people are calling them geezers, and the old people are calling them, oh, you're just kids, and you have a lot to learn. It's just animosity from both sides, and both sides just seem like dickheads. That's what just came off, is just both sides seem like dicks. Like, other than Egon, everybody just seemed like a dick. Now, I like the idea of this ghost that each time you trap it, it'll somehow come back and duplicate. So, say it's 2 ghosts, you trap it, it'll come back and there'll be 4. I like that idea. I like the idea of them working together to deal with this enemy. I didn't care for any times there was a blast. They do this color scheme that looks like a kaleidoscope, or at times, you know, that neon glow-in-the-dark type of look thing? I don't know how to describe it, but each time they blast it, they do this kind of, again, this like weird kaleidoscope. I don't know how the hell to describe it, but I just didn't care for that aesthetic. And the music, I did not care for the theme music. If you say it, that is only good. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. And I thought the theme song sucked dick. So I just was not impressed with this cartoon. The Real Ghostbusters, when I saw the episode, wow, that was really good. It made me want to watch more of the show. Here, I'm like, no thanks, man, no thanks. Episode 2, the old and new Ghostbusters are still working together. They're fishing. And then it's this fog devouring a boat. And this fog has something to do with the Bermuda Triangle. But it's an entity that's heading towards their way. I just like the goth girl and hipster douchebags, and there's one moment I liked with Peter Venkman where they're on a boat and they tip over, and so it goes, oh my god, we're going to freeze to death. And he goes, nah, sharks will get us first. I did chuckle a bit at that. But also, like, the design of the fog creature here, it's just a less version of the fog. I mean, there's not a lot of cool design in that episode of the enemy. And it just engulfs the Statue of Liberty, and they're trying to plan a design to stop it while it's a montage of other boats and stuff being engulfed. Finally, they do capture it. And apparently all the entities, all the people, all the boats, planes, even from back to the days of World War II, that were pretty much caught in the Bermuda Triangle, they come back. So it's thousands of people get a new lease on life. And again, while, yes, compared to Afterlife, I mean, I know people will say to do another Ghostbusters, it has to be a passing of the torch. I'm just in that mentality of what made the Ghostbusters work was that original cast, and without the original cast, to me, it just doesn't work anymore. That's just me, and when you try to step in those shoes, it's very high falutin shoes to fill up. That any newbies, I don't think, could capture it. And people say that's narrow-minded, but then I go, why do we need to do our Ghostbusters? What should have been done is you do Ghostbusters 3 in 1994, 95, have a trilogy, boom, done, you move on, and do like Evolution. Ghostbusters type of movie, but different. Do a good version. They don't remake Pixels. Pixels was a piece of shit. Instead of doing a pass of the torch story for Ghostbusters, just leave Ghostbusters in the past. And grow out of it. Meaning, listen, I love the stuff in the past. But it comes to a point where you need to put the toy away and we need to create new stuff. That's why we had the cool stuff, because they were creating new stuff. Like Ghostbusters and Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Nightmare on Elm Street and Die Hard and Commando and First Blood and even into the 90s. X-Files TV show took something old like Kolchak, the Night Stalker, made something new. Which was way better than when they fucking tried to reboot Kolchak in that shitty show that only lasted like 5 episodes. Again, my point is that, yeah, I mean, the cartoon doesn't make me that mad. This is a cartoon. There's an audience for it. I know there's a lot of people that like the extreme Ghostbusters. That's cool. Teach their own. It's just not my cup of tea. But, I mean, it's less egregious to me because it's a cartoon. Let us do its own thing. That's fine. It just, I don't know, movie with those actors from the original film and then what they did with it, that was just a lot more egregious to me. A lot more, made me a lot more angry than this ever would. Like I said, the action scenes didn't really blow me away. I did like that episode of The Real Ghostbusters I saw where Peter Venkman on the roller coaster and blasting it, and you got the Ghostbusters theme playing. And like the animation I just thought looked better. And when they blasted, it didn't have this weird, like, again, I don't, it's, you know what it is? It's like when you look at a light too long and then you look away and you have this kind of weird effect where it like it's dark for a bit, and I don't know, it was this, for some reason it made me think like neon glow in the dark. I don't know how else to put it, man. I didn't care for it. And like I said, the music I didn't care for. Like I said, it's just, Extreme Ghostbusters just wasn't my cup of tea, man. So, sorry, WildManBeyond. He requested this. Thank you for the request. This just wasn't for me. I'll stay with the first 2 Ghostbusters movies. I would give more of a shot to the first 3 seasons of The Real Ghostbusters, the original show. Again, the new characters just seem annoying to me. Again, like hipster fucking soul patch douchebag that seems like he's going to be reading poetry in a street corner. Then, oh, I'm a wheelchair, so that means I could be a dickhead. No, it means you're a dickhead in a wheelchair. Great, it was curious to hear Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air have a voice in the show. I mean, I like the idea of the Bermuda Triangle being attributed to an entity. And then again, the previous episode, like the ideas were interesting. they kind of end the same way, where they work with each other, they retool the weapons, they shoot, they capture it, things are a-okay. So they both kind of have the same type of ending. So I don't know what else to say. It just, if people love it, that's cool. Just not for me. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.